We are live,
Okay.
and we need unmute.
For all those people that are here listening?
Yeah.
All right, so wait, this is different? So is this the old one here?
You've got a new one right in front of you, Kim.
I know, but this is the old one.
Yes.
Do we? Is Bob with us? Or?
Bob's here. I got Bob
Okay.
right here. Hey,
Okay.
Bob.
What's the old one? This one?
No,
the new
that's the new one. You want that one. You want
Don't
that
worry
one.
about that one. That's the old one.
Don't worry
Put that
about your
to the
packet.
side.
Yeah,
Rip it in half.
yeah. This is minor
Throw it
edit.
on the table.
There you go.
Minor edit. Minor edit.
I'm just
Nothing
wondering
of
what-
consequence.
Okay.
All right, I'd like to call the village council budget meeting to order, May 11th, 2021. I show the time at 5:39. I show we have a full council with Councilman Mark Elise attending remotely. First off, I'll need a motion to allow Councilmember Mark Elise to participate remotely.
So moved.
All's in favor?
Hi.
Motion passes. Next up, we have adoption of the agenda. I need a motion to pass the agenda as presented.
So moved.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is discussion of general budget.
Aye. Sorry, I didn't say it.
Aye?
Aye.
Oh,
Sorry.
motion passes. All
If
right.
you don't say it, you hear it's automatic. Yes.
Sorry.
You're
Sorry, I was counting something.
All right, so who is kicking us off here? We have questions from council.
Christina more than likely is gonna. Christina more than likely will drive, Mayor.
Okay.
Say again?
You're driving this.
Yeah.
Next, we start a reading. Do you need reading glasses?
Oh, I have a pair. Do you want a pair?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I mean, I can get mine. They're in the truck.
Mine are in my handbag. They're kind of girly.
I don't care. I'm feeling totally wrong.
What's happening? What's going
Squirrely, squirrely or girly?
Love.
Let me know.
I didn't like you.
I may have to get a
He
picture.
stole it. Did you not see him?
It's from his roommate.
Oh my God.
So if anything happens, we're paying his roommate.
All right. Can we go? We're in, like, the meeting's going
I
on.
know.
This is good stuff.
Oh,
Who's
Christina's
leading
doing
this?
it.
And I think she defers.
Yeah, I'm ready if they're ready.
Hey,
Yeah, we're ready.
we're in the middle of the meeting. Pay attention. Let's go.
We're waiting for some glasses so he
He
can see.
needed some reading glasses. 'cause
Can't
he
see?
forgot 'em.
No, Jamie went to go
Well, I
get
can,
Jamie
it's just-
some reading glasses.
It's a little harder.
So I
Sorry,
we're
I
looking-
apologize. I
we're
didn't
looking-
realize
we're
that we were
looking
looking
to
at
get
reading.
photos.
Do you want me to hold it here for you to read it?
Make a motion.
When your arm's not long enough, that's time to get glasses.
Can you read it over here?
Oh, wow.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Jamie.
bigger.
Do you need to?
All right,
Can you see now?
kick it off, Christine.
Okay, so as of last week, I believe y'all received the budget message, which is in front of you if you haven't had a chance to read it. And I apologize that tomorrow is gonna be a little redundant from what you're hearing tonight, but it'll be a good practice for me. So I'm gonna go over the main highlights in the budget message, which is basically, it's a $3.4 million budget. Typically, we're at a $1.4 million budget, so we have increased substantially, but this is mainly associated with the borrowing for Village Hall and the contractual services that we've estimated for solid waste. Of the $3.4 million, 1.9 of that, I'm sorry, 1.9 of that is the actual increase from this year's budget. So you're seeing roughly $2 million more in your budget than you did the current year that we're in now. 1.1 million of that is for borrowing, as you know, and that represents 60% of this increase. The additional 400,000 is the solid waste services that we've estimated, and those numbers are not finite. They could change. Since 2010, we have had a population increase of about 34%, and we've only increased our tax rate one time, which was last year. So those are really good numbers.
And that was specifically, you may want to point out, to pay for
For law
a full-time
enforcement, yeah.
officer.
100% of that was for law enforcement. In this revaluation year, we are anticipating a 204 increase in property taxes based off of the revaluation estimates. This is a Union County valuation. This is not a Village of Marvin valuation. It's done by a county. The revenue neutral tax rate, we have to legally list, which is 4 cents, 4.9. Our current tax rate, we are proposing to keep it at the same rate as discussed at 6 cents. This does increase our property tax revenue slightly and allows us to add in more projects such as the Village Hall. Did you want to say anything?
I'm good, you're good. You're doing good, you're doing good.
A couple of the goals and objectives, we'll go over this tomorrow in more detail, but mainly just wanted to mention that this does include the implementation of Village Hall, solid waste services, $115,000 appropriation for the roundabout, 100% funding of our capital improvement plan. If you turn to page 4, I think it is, of your budget message, the table highlights basically where all your revenues come from as far as your types and your expenditures. Majority of that revenue type is ad valorem, which is your property taxes, and then unrestricted intergovernmental. And then you see the debt proceeds for Village Hall and coming in and then going out in the expenditures. Shows you also your general government expenses at $771,000. That's the majority of where our expenditures actually go to. And then we have a $50,000 contingency based off of y'all's request at the last meeting. The next page, which is page 5, shows you the current capital projects and the money that's available for spending in those projects. You'll see the Village Hall number is slightly less than what you're used to seeing. You're used to seeing about $800,000. The reason it's less than that is because we have encumbrances and calculated in that number. For example, the sanitary sewer project is already coming out of that number.
Dewberry, Urban, and Yarborough.
Okay. Farmers Market is still there at $25,000. Greenways is $13,000, and then the Lupin Greenway. The Lupin Greenway is at $46,000. This does not include any numbers that would be in your fund balance reserve for special purposes. For example, y'all remember discussions about there's a Greenway reserved fund.
Yep.
That is in your fund balance, so that is in addition to these numbers.
Okay.
These numbers are specifically for the capital projects that are listed here.
Do you have these on slides for tomorrow?
I don't, but we can
You
add
can
it.
add it.
I mean, I think it would probably be good because you're gonna talk and people are not gonna have this information in front of them and they're gonna be like,
Okay, yeah, we'll add that.
Yeah, I agree.
The next page shows you how your dollar is broken down. As far as your tax dollar, your 6 cent is broken down this way, so we could do a penny.
That's graphically
do
challenging.
a penny. Why? It's a circle.
Oh, you have no idea how long that takes to do.
3 brains trying.
But that shows you your main expenses, again, go to general government, and then solid waste being projected at the next highest. Gave some general statistics on Marvin and the tax rates that we've had over the years, and your general,
How does solid waste services 18%?
it's 400,000 is what we anticipated it being.
But they're just paying for it. It's not part of the 6 cent.
No, but we have to show it coming in as a revenue and then going out as an expenditure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we will be collecting from each individual.
Yeah, but in their taxes, so it'll be, and then we pay the bills. Okay, that makes sense. But this isn't going to start till next spring, right?
Yes, that's a good point.
So it's still not like
Yeah, we need to
18% of our dollar, right?
We need to change that number because we didn't have any, we literally just plugged
plugged
400 in. We didn't know
Okay.
how much it was gonna be.
So how are you gonna address that? Are you gonna do it on a prorated basis or?
Yeah, because we're gonna start, if I'm not mistaken, it's March or April. And so what we do is prorate the months in that fiscal year.
Okay.
So it's 3 or 4 months.
Okay, so that kind of needs to be adjusted,
Yeah, we'll
right?
address that.
Okay.
Any questions on the budget letter itself?
No, very nice.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. Well, you expressed your thanks, so I'm saying you're welcome.
All right, moving into the
So
work.
nobody finds me humorous anymore. Okay, good.
And moving into the workbook, it basically summarizes everything that I just said. Well, not summarize it, but go into more detail of everything that I just said that we've discussed. Jamie, you can help me out on here. I
Sure.
don't think that we've
Happy to.
changed many things. We have changed from what y'all have seen in the past. We have changed a couple of things based off of the discussion that we've had. See, starting
Your
revenues remain the same with the exception of adding in the 400,000 for solid waste, which you'll see it come right back out. So it's kind of a wash, but we will address that number to make it a little more solid. Moving into the expenditures, my page is weird. General government, we did add in a board stipend for other boards.
So, real quick question, just on the thing, and I'm just thinking out loud. So if
What's
we
the,
have
what's the thing?
the budget, if we have a significant fine, we talked about this quickly or shortly yesterday.
A significant what?
A significant fine against the group that we pick for
Oh, a fine.
a fine for, against the garbage collection company. And we fine them, and that would mean revenue, right? Do we
Correct.
have to put that in a certain place, or does it go into general balance fund, or does it go to, how does that work?
It would come in as miscellaneous revenues
Okay,
and it would just go into our general fund.
okay, so really the person on the end that didn't get the service or whatever doesn't get really compensated.
We'll have to work out a separate policy in terms of how we're gonna, how we're gonna address certain things that's not allowed, that's allowed in the trash cans and stuff for, for you guys, like customers, so that y'all know what you can and cannot dispose of. And included in that, we could create some type of policy that does give a reimbursement if that's something desired.
Right.
I
didn't want to get into that. I just was saying from a standpoint of if there are significant, we were talking about the teeth we have in this
Yeah.
contract, and then what happens if we are assessing fines, where that goes to. It would be nice to know. Because I know if I have an issue with my service and I complain, sometimes they cut the rate for me that week or that,
Yeah.
and prorate it, whatever.
We have the ability to do that in the creation of our policy.
Okay.
When we get to that point. So nothing has majorly changed in the first salaries and benefits. Trying to look. We did address the health insurance went down slightly, so we did change that up a little bit. We did put in the $20,000 for the CPA contract, which you will see in tonight's agenda.
Yep.
So that's funded here. Moving on to the next page, which says page 2 on the sheet.
Christina,
I'm
don't
sorry,
forget to
no,
mention the
page-
Union County tax collection contract.
Yes, I'm sorry, you can go ahead and repeat that.
You'll see the Union County tax collection contract at $12,980 starting on July 1. That's under your professional services groupings.
On page,
Page 3. General government, professional services, last line item, Union County tax collection contract coming in at $12,980 to start on July 1.
yeah.
And that's a contract that we've already approved, so y'all did that a couple months ago, I believe.
Yes.
Moving on to cancel boards training retreat, we did have $5,000 in there for retreat assistance or any type of other board meeting if we wanted to have that. We've had that in the past, so we're just gonna put it in here in case you want to do it later. There's $15,000 in administrator discretionary funds. This is basically an account that we just pull from throughout the year when we need more money. I cannot spend that money directly from that account, so it will have to be reallocated back into wherever it was spent, so y'all are aware of that when it's done. There is a $5,000 tuition assistance budget in here, which is new. That's per the new personnel policy that was approved. And last,
We budgeted enough money for rent for here,
we did.
because I don't know when it's gonna be done,
Yeah.
since we awarded that a month ago and they still haven't done anything, so.
We budgeted 9 months of rent.
They- Yeah,
we
they've been held up by.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, we had thought that it was,
It'd be on
it
the
was
way.
gonna, yeah, and so we were thinking by the, Thanksgiving,
We
we was
ass-
gonna be ready.
We assume move-in date of March, which is way later than what we really should
Okay,
be. So,
okay,
yeah, we're good.
okay.
It does have the loan payments for the new village hall in here too, of $102,000, and that is a 15-year note. Moving on to the second page of page 3. Where's our other board stipends?
It's back on, flip back over and go to salaries and employees.
Okay, gotcha.
Other council stipends, 5,000, right under mayor pro tem.
Can you explain that real fast, Jamie?
Sure, I know everybody had a conversation about the number of meetings that you guys attend that are outside of your assignments. So like Kim is often at the planning committee, and now she's on this Marvin Day 22. So we plugged in 5,000 so that you could get money for the time that you're serving, doing other activities.
CRTPO.
See,
So do I have to
you do
notify you
Wilma?
that when I go on the CRTPO meetings? Do I have to notify you that?
You probably have
How's
to,
that?
yeah.
I don't know how we'll take attendance for that. I have no way to enforce
Well, they
that.
take attendance. When they do a roll call at the CRTPO, all the meetings, they will do a roll call of all the towns representatives.
That's not gonna start till July, right?
Yeah.
So
Correct.
we've got some time to toss
Figure
around
out
how we're
you
gonna
wanna
figure
do
that
it.
out.
Yeah.
We discussed it being an honor system on those extra boards like CRTPO, and obviously if they're a village board, we would know.
Yeah.
It's based off of attendance, but
And what is it, Wilma? Aren't some of you
Yeah,
guys
Wilma.
doing that
Joe
too?
Hire and Wilma.
So,
Wilma.
I mean, with how, I mean, I know that, I mean, that's all well and good, but that doesn't account for the extra meetings and extra things that I know all of us are doing, like a lot extra.
Like clean
Coffee
the
with
traffic
council, coffee with council, cleaning up the traffic circle, the village hall, the
Gas money.
town hall meetings. You know, Andy and I met with Derek yesterday morning at the roundabout. I mean, there's like,
circle. Yeah, fixing the gas pipe.
yeah. So do we
Well,
want
why don't we consider bumping the, for those?
to? Well, and that's what I'm looking at. Like right now, for municipalities our size, there's 22 other municipalities that have a higher mayor stipend. There's 15 that have a higher mayor pro tem, and there's 18 that have a higher
That's just of
governing
those that
board.
reported, right?
That's just of those that reported that are of our size.
yeah, so every year the league does a salary study, and if you report, it's self-reporting, so you can report or you can not report. And that's what, this is the ones that reported.
So, I mean, I think that with the amount of work that's going in, the amount of work that's gonna continue to happen over the next, you know, especially with Village Hall over the next year, you know, that would be something that I would consider doing.
What's your suggestion?
I don't really have one.
So, let me see what you're currently,
So the mayor's at 70-20, the mayor pro tem's at 64-20, and council's at 58-20.
correct.
Correct. Good eyes.
I wrote it down bigger.
These are, so this list that I'm seeing are average salaries. Where are you getting the detail on the mayor and?
Cause it's mayor, look at me, Andy, mayor,
Oh, on the backside.
mayor pro tem, governing boards.
Flipping it over would help.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Got it.
So, and that was just a quick look, and again, these are municipalities our size, so, I mean, maybe $1,000 each slot more? I don't know, what do you guys think?
1,000 breaks down to, what, $100 a month? More, right? Essentially,
Roughly,
maybe a little less.
That's
roughly.
about 85.
I want to be in
Right, different.
compliance or in the same range as where everyone.
Yeah.
So we're not,
So Kim, what was your proposal again, or
She
suggestion?
walked out.
Kim has
stepped
left the
out.
building. No, actually, she's dealing with the people delivering food. You are getting your Grubhub delivered, aren't you, Bob, where you're at?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes,
good.
sir.
Just kidding, for the record. So she had to step out, but we are looking at, she had suggested potentially just across the board, like $1,000, which would equate to just over $90 a month. More.
Keep in mind too that we also created this, per council's recommendation at the last meeting, the other cancel stipends, which is roughly $5,000, and that is for you all, so whatever 5,000 is divided by, let me do that real quick, hang on. So that would be an additional.
I noticed a lot of these, like, they pay the mayor.
So
So you're
again,
saying that it's 1250?
$830.
This other one would be an additional $1,000 as well,
yeah, so, and, okay,
depending on attendance.
right, depends on attendance. And then we gotta think of too, how does this affect when we have 5 council members, then 6 council members? How does that affect the budget? You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you're
Kim was
sorry.
just talking about, Bob was asking what you proposed. I said essentially 1,000 across the board, but keep in mind, she was saying something about the 5,000 that is in a kitty, if you will, for all the different meetings or events that we are a part of.
Is there 6?
Um,
It's 5. Have to add the 6.
But then, keep in mind, this election cycle will have 5 council members, so we'll be adding to that. We'll be adding 5 just at this upcoming election,
Right.
and then we're adding 1, a 6th, in the following election, is what I thought. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from budget standpoints, I don't know if that's,
So
that makes a big deal or not, but refresh my memory on the $5,000 kitty, what that's for. We pull from that as needed.
Yeah, no, that's for like, when I go to a Park Rec and Greenway meeting, I get paid. When you go to a women meeting, you get paid. When Bob goes to a planning board meeting, he gets paid. When Jamie goes to a,
CRTPO means.
yeah, you get paid, he gets paid, correct?
All right, so that's in addition to what your proposal was.
Correct.
Kim.
Yes.
And Joe, what I'm thinking is that depending upon what the legislature does, and the 5th council person probably wouldn't take office until the next budget cycle, I would guess, right?
Now they would take office, the 5th person would take office in December. So it'd be right in the middle of our budget year. So we're not accounting for that.
We would only account for half.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't even know if they'll even have an election in November, right?
I think at this point they're saying that it is now on.
Oh,
Yeah, that was news to us too.
okay.
You may have dropped off the call when we were talking about that.
Okay, thank you.
So, any other comments about where we're at with? I think we're still in the middle, in the mix of where everyone else is. I don't think it's.
So I think two comments. One, is that when we did the increase last year, that was based off of, because our numbers were much lower than what the average was. Is that correct? If I remember that
Yeah, was it
conversation
2 years ago or 1 year ago?
Last year.
Okay.
last year, because it was,
We were way off.
we were way off, and someone made the comment afterward that as a percentage, they said, well, I would like to have a 20% increase, which by the numbers,
Yeah.
so that will come up again. But we didn't have this, I don't believe we had this information at that time either, so we really didn't know where we were even going. And we didn't know that all of the additional duties that we were gonna be encountering, especially with Village Hall and all the other stuff that we've signed up for and doing. So, I guess there's more information provided to substantiate the increase, based on the activity and based on the information. And I don't want it, and my second comment would be to say that I don't want to, if there is an increase, that I don't want to confuse it in any way, fashion, or whatever, that it would be toward, because of the legal fees that several of us have incurred. I know Bob and I have incurred $30,000 in legal fees, and it would not, I'm completely against it being anything that would be directed or even looked at upon that. I just want to go on record to say that.
All right. Well, I think we all have found ourselves busier as things have gotten busy and with all that's in what we are doing. And I can attest to that just from the WUMA when we go around the room and we're talking about what's going on in towns. Every town is busy to some extent, but when I think we have so many things going on with the town hall and, the Heritage District, the town hall meetings that we are, and the efforts we're taking to get messages out to people. I think that's certainly taking of our time.
Our report's usually about twice as long as everybody else's. Not because you like to talk, but because the content is usually twice as
I always
long.
got something to say there. But no, we are busier. They're certainly a lot busier than Weddington would be or is right now. You'd think they'd be busier. And we don't have much to grow. We're almost built out as far as homes go. But we still are committed to the different meetings that we have to attend, and it all affects what we do. And I will tell you, it does. Someone asked me how much time I spend doing this. I said it varies depending on the time of year and what's going on, and that's what we a lot of this we generate ourselves, the work, but it can vary from 20 hours a week to a lot more. So, and sometimes less.
How many meetings did we have? What was it, March or April?
A bunch.
We had, it seemed like we had.
Yeah. Seemed like we were here more than at home.
I never
So-
felt closer to y'all.
Okay, so I just did the mayors. So of the 22 municipalities that are higher than our current, I just averaged them out, and the average is 92.63. So we would still be under like what that average of what is higher if we went up 1,000.
Oh, you took all these?
Yeah,
Mayor.
not all of them, just the ones that were over.
Oh.
Which was 22 different municipalities. Added them up, divided them by 22, and the average was 90.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
One that was over
over
the
our
mayor
current,
Yes,
correct.
okay.
And that is roughly half, because there's 43 total.
Yeah.
22 of them are higher.
So it's more than half. It'll be 44.
Okay. And
I said roughly.
I didn't know if you checked it for, so percentage wise, it goes up a little more. If we do it across the board, it goes up a little more percentage wise as far as those who choose to say, oh, I'm giving myself
I think it's important to also add for people that are listening and want to do this. Since I've been a council member, I've always said that we have been very short-staffed with the village employees. So when I think back to the things that I know I've been involved with in helping the flood over here, because we didn't have adequate number of employees that could go out there and take care of that. We don't ask anyone to do it, we just go ahead and do it. When we start picking up trash in the circle, and we start doing, there are so many things that we don't just pick up the phone that someone else might do in another town and say, hey, have so-and-so go pick up the trash, or have someone go sweep this, or someone go do this. We just, in effect, do it ourselves, in part because we still have to recognize that we are still short-staffed.
and for the record, to piggyback on that, a specific example was we got a quote to that little fix over by the school, which was almost $20,000. Yet, I think, Andy, you stepped up, Jamie, you went over there, you guys figured out what it would take to do it, and we got it done for...
We've got no money in it right now. We're making
So,
zero.
so for our time.
No, that's what I'm
And-
saying, is like, because we are actually we're fortunate enough to have you who have the equipment to do some of this stuff where we can say, hey, wait a minute, is this just a grade
We'll
issue?
have-
All right, I mean, I don't think we need to justify it
We'll have
anymore.
$300
I think we've
in
done
the
that.
project,
Well-
I think, total. But
Unfortunately, and fortunately, we should defend it and.
No, I'm just saying, I think we have done, like, I mean.
I know, but there's gonna be some, and there will be people that will come back and say, well, there's another percentage increase, because they won't say the amount. And they won't address the amount of time that, because I can tell you, mine far exceeds what I thought it was gonna be. There's not just two meetings a month and that's it. It's coffee with council, and sometimes that's twice a month for me. I don't care, I enjoy doing it. We also are doing town halls twice a year that we have to prepare for. We have to put stuff together for that other councils have never done. So I want to defend it and I want to talk about it because someone will address it and they'll skew it and they'll twist it out of proportion. And you know what? I have no problem sitting there defending it.
No, me neither.
Me either.
Bob, do you have any comments?
No, I'm with everybody. We've been putting in a lot of time, and I think we need to assess it as we have been. So no, I'm with everybody.
So how much do you guys want to do?
Stick to the
Well,
1,000.
your suggestion was you said 90, and then the compensation for the, from the other. Of our other participations in the other meetings of what is it? I guess another 90 or whatever it was. So, I'm probably good with that.
So
Everybody else feel?
it's actually it comes down closer to like $80 a month. I think
Yeah,
is what it is.
yeah.
So
That's the, yeah.
if we do $1,000, so do we want to do $1,000 like total? So it's $80 a month. Do we get more? Do we want to do $100 a month? Like, what do you guys want to do? And we put in.
Well, I'm good with $100 a month to make it nice and round.
No, that's fine with me. I'm not.
I mean,
gonna
if
squabble over
we
80 or
do
100.
if we do $1,200, so for the mayor we're still under. For Mayor Pro Tem we're still under. I didn't do it for council because I know we're going to be
Right.
still under. So I'm fine with that. If we want to do $1,200,
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so this will be put into this budget to be approved?
yeah.
Yes, and we'll have to amend the board stipend policy that y'all have, and we'll add that to the base pay, not the attendance base, because it's
Yeah.
gonna be much easier to keep up with that
That's
way.
fine.
Okay. All right, so does someone want to make a motion to do that?
Do we need to do that?
Or does it just need to be put in?
Yeah, well, I'll add it to the budget, y'all will approve
We
the
can
budget.
approve it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're not
Yeah.
approving it tomorrow. We're
Well,
just
no,
doing the public
but-
hearing tomorrow.
Right, public hearing tomorrow.
And then at the end of the month, when we have our work session, oh, Jesus, we lost them again.
Is everybody in agreement of the 1,200, just so?
Hey, sorry, you good?
I'm back.
Okay,
No
sorry.
problem here.
Okay,
Told you it's something wrong.
yeah, so
Yes, we're all in agreement.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Moving on to page 4.
Anything else changed there?
Nothing's changed. Just wanted to reiterate, engineer costs have gone up because we anticipate more revenues coming up on that, so that's why you see an increase there.
Okay. But we'll have it on the opposite side of coming in. Okay.
Planning consultant is still in there at a full 20 hours a week for the full year. Something like that. And then the code enforcement is in there at 11,000. Notice that each individual account does not have tuition assistance or reimbursement, so that 5,000 is for the entire staff.
Okay.
Transportation, there's been no changes. Just want to reiterate the 40,000 for the pedestrian crosswalk and the $115,000 appropriation for the roundabout. And the next page is page 7. Nothing changed really on that, other than the fact that Derek is in here at 40 hours a week, so he's a full-time person. Park projects are at $57,000 per the approved CIP, plus $17,000 for the playground, which the increase that we just discussed will pull from that playground appropriation. So roughly, you'll see that number decrease by about $7,000, 7 or 8. Whatever the 1,200 equates to.
Don't forget public safety, Christina,
Oh yeah, it's had an increase, just a slight increase.
3.9% on the 2 deputies.
That's pretty standard, right?
Yeah.
And refresh my memory, did we just pay cash for the truck that we're supposed to get?
We did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
We'll get
is on its
sometime.
own agenda.
Well, good luck getting anything these days from anyone.
You guys approved that back in February.
We already paid them for it?
Not
Okay,
yet,
good.
no.
Perfect. I was gonna say, oh, I'm gonna need some money back.
Yeah,
So the next, page 8 is a new tab for solid waste. Again, we didn't have any details at the formation of this budget, and we probably won't have anything more than what you're seeing now. We'll change the numbers, but we're not gonna have the sections itemized.
Well, until like you start getting into it, because you're not gonna know what you need.
So that's probably gonna be a number that changes. And that's pretty much it. Nothing major has changed. You'll see this again as a recap tomorrow.
All right. But I would definitely get it on slides.
Yes, we will.
All right, does anybody have any questions? Because I don't know that we need to ask, we don't necessarily need to ask questions tomorrow. If public has questions. I mean, I feel like we've seen this enough.
Everyone good with it, Bob?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay,
Jamie?
I'm good.
you're good.
I'm
You're
good.
I'm good. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
this ready and prepared, and Christine as well. And you're comfortable with tomorrow night presenting this
So good now,
essentially?
since you had your practice room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't have any hecklers in the crowd either, did you?
Not yet.
Can I be one?
And what would you say if you were a heckler? All right, so that's all we need to
Yeah.
do on that. No other questions? Then I'll just call for an adjournment before our regular meeting.
So moved.
All's in favor?
6:15.
Aye.
Motion passes. Grub